Say the next pandemic, there will be another pandemic.
Absolutely. We don't know when.
Next pandemic, and there will be one. There will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic.
We definitively will have to face other surprises, black swans as they are called, maybe different kinds of viruses.
Most of the work we're going to do to be ready for pandemic 2, I call this pandemic 1.
Alright, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying to the elect. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, who taught me this 100% truth. Shalom to you brothers out on the highways and hedges, teaching this gospel in all sincerity and in truth, giving up your body as a living sacrifice. Shalom to you few Akwaf, meaning you few Israelite sisters that may be watching, listening, and learning. You women that are in order, Shalom. And Shalom to you Israelites scattered abroad that may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right, so, there's rumors of, these different pestilences that are breaking out. Pestilences, disease, and we had the COVID-19 back in the day, and that was one of the pestilences that were prophesied to come in these end times. But now you've got new ones emerging, and you heard it from Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and all these people of the WEF, World Economic Forum, speaking about a new pandemic that is to come, almost like they're creating them. So who knows what's going on. All I know is that it's prophecy that this would happen. It's the plagues of the Lord, man. Okay, so I got a few clips I want to play in this lesson, and I just want to touch on this topic briefly. All right, it shouldn't be too long. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, starting at verse 35. It says, "Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord." So this is speaking to us of the hopeful elect. All right, the ones that are keeping the commandments and doing the Lord's will in these end times, not these Christians. They're not servants of the Lord. All right. Verse 36, it says, "Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it." It says, "Believe not the gods, lowercase g gods, of whom the Lord spake." Okay. It says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh," means are drawing near, basically, right? It says, and are not slack. It says, "As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son," it says, "with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment." So, right now we're in the time of that the Bible calls the birth pains. Okay, so you're gonna have events pop up, which represents like the contractions, and then it'll ease up a minute. And maybe not too much happening in the news or whatever, or in prophecy, and then all of a sudden, boom, loads of prophecies pop up again. And now we're in the contraction, one of the contractions, which is bringing forth pestilence, just like the Bible said, man. Let's read it. Verse 39, it says, "Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth." And part of the plagues is pestilence. It says, "And the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side." And right now we're seeing all kinds of events that have taken place that are causing the world to mourn. People aren't in that spirit of mirth like they used to be. People still are, because a lot of them in la la land and ain't paying attention. But the ones that are realizing that this place is through, man. It's over. It says in verse 40, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." So you need to be in the mind state of preparing to leave it all behind, man. Just like that movie or whatever that Barack Obama produced, "Leave the World Behind." You know, that's all spiritual, man, you know, because it represents the times we're living in. You got to be in a mind state to leave everything behind, okay? Even those that don't want to follow you, or should I say follow Yahweh Shai, you know, whether it be your family, your wife, you know, those close to you or whatever, you got to be prepared to leave them behind too. You may have a house, be comfortable, everything's really sweet and set up nice for you, good job or whatever, you know. You got to be prepared to leave all that behind and understand that this is prophecy and that the Lord said he would take care of his elect. All right, because what we got coming is way better than whatever you may be holding on to. And you got to keep that in mind, man. You know, that's if you endure to the end. Okay. Right. So I want to turn to the book of actually, before I do that, let me play another clip or two because I got a couple here.
Listen up, people. While you're scrolling through Grammy drama and political theater, the real bombshell is exploding right under our noses, and the media burying it deep. FBI raids a Las Vegas home, uncovers a secret biolab packed with over 1,000 vials of fuck knows what, and guess who's behind it? A Chinese national linked straight to the CCP. The same motherfucker who ran that nightmare lab in California with genetically engineered mice bred to spread COVID, hepatitis, malaria, HIV, and even Ebola stashed away like some fucking science fair from hell. People are getting deathly sick, and employees are puking their guts out. This isn't some lame sci-fi flick. It's a potential bioweapon factory in our backyards, funded by the Chinese. Yet crickets from the mainstream press. Why? Because it exposes the failures. CDC is ignoring calls and feds are dragging their ass. Where's the fucking outrage? Why isn't this headline news every hour? Who are we protecting? We need to wake the fuck up and demand answers before the next pandemic hits.
So yeah, this is the latest in involving the topic of pestilence, because this could be a spark that causes a flame or a great forest fire, man. This could spin out of control. You've got people like this in the US, going about making secret biolabs under everyone's nose. And, it's going unchecked. How many more people are doing this, Because during that time when, everybody was coming across the border, they was letting in all kinds of, people that were migrating. They let them through the border. How many sleeper cells came in during that time? You got to understand that there could be a lot of sleeper cells that are creating these type of labs to, spread diseases in America. And we know that the scriptures say that we're coming into a time of great death. So it wouldn't be surprising if part of that great death comes from, the outbreak of pestilences due to these sleeper cells that have come across the border. And, they're probably plotting to attack America through pestilence. Because during war, which we are in that time of war, people used pestilence as their sword, or as a sword, as a weapon. It's always used in war. The Spaniards and the British did it when they came over to America, and when they gave the Native American smallpox blankets. It's always been used as a method of war. Now, I want to show you another video real quick, because I'm not sure if this guy's going to explain it, but if he doesn't, I'll just say that the landlord of the building that guy was creating that biolab in just so happened to be and Israeli. What are the odds of that, eh? So they're tied to this in some way, shape, or form. You know, it stinks of them. And it's no surprise, man. And this image I showed you earlier, I had on the screen, it says breaking, deadly Nipah virus spreads in India. WHO warns it could become a global pandemic, right? Because this is happening in India. Now there's other places that are experiencing outbreaks also. Let's quickly show you.
You gotta be fucking with me. Really? Here we go. Can't make this shit up. This shit running around Africa, besides the lions, tigers, and motherfucking bears. Let it go.
Ethiopia has confirmed its first ever outbreak of the Marburg virus, a highly contagious and often deadly disease related to Ebola. Health officials say that emergency teams have been deployed to the affected region. The World Health Organization has released $300,000 from its contingency fund to support Ethiopia in containing the spread of the virus. Countries neighboring Ethiopia have stepped up surveillance along their borders as a precaution. Aman Kumar Himanshu has more.
Now in Africa.
Just as the world was beginning to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, comes a grim warning from the World
2026, this shit gone crazy.
People in Ethiopia have been infected with the deadly Marburg virus.
Oh my
The
God.
alert came after some people in southern Ethiopia reported high fever and bleeding. Laboratory tests supported
Nigga, I need a spacesuit. I'm scared now. I am afraid. I can't take no more of this shit. I mean, Jesus.
The region has faced in recent years. As of now, 17 cases have been identified in the region of Jinka City, in the south of the country. Out of the 129 people who were in contact with the infected are being monitored. Ethiopia's Ministry of Health confirmed that 3 people have died. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said that his organization is working with Ethiopian authorities to contain the spread of the virus and to support medical teams on the ground. Attention is focused on identifying all suspected cases, isolating those infected, and enhancing surveillance in surrounding areas. Monitoring along the country's borders has also been heightened, reflecting concerns that the virus could spread across eastern Africa.
Blood out your eyes.
Quickly contained.
What the
On
fuck?
13th November, the WHO released $300,000 from its contingency fund for emergencies to support Ethiopia. The Marburg virus disease is considered one of the most dangerous virus infections known to humankind. The virus belongs to the Filoviridae family, which includes Ebola.
This is today.
Both cause sudden high fever, headache, and bleeding.
Bleeding? From
This
where?
begins about 1 week after the onset of symptoms.
Oh
The
my
disease
Jesus.
is transmitted through direct contact with the body fluids of infected people or contaminated surfaces. As per the WHO, the Marburg virus is capable of killing half of the people it infects. It was first identified in 1967 during outbreaks among laboratory workers in Germany and Serbia who had handled infected primates. Scientists consider that the virus, which takes its origin from fruit bats,
Fruit
spills
bats.
over to
Going back
humans
to bats
before
again.
spreading in the community.
Oh my Lord.
Patients admitted to hospitals displayed a range of symptoms common to many viral diseases, but those who died showed signs of hemorrhagic fever. Current statistics indicate an 88% mortality rate.
88
The
fatality
WHO
rate.
reported that sporadic cases have been reported in sub-Sahara Africa, which includes Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo,
Wow.
Kenya, Equatorial Guinea, Rwanda, South Africa, Tanzania, and Uganda. Last year, Rwanda reported an outbreak that affected at least 66 people, with 15 deaths. In 2005, this virus killed 300.
Yeah, that's the end of that. So, you ready to wear your mask again? You ready for Plandemic 2.0? You know, Because this time we're living in, man, is very unstable. And ain't no point in trying to get too comfortable. Like I said, you may have a nice home and all that. Be prepared to leave it, man. Be prepared to leave it all behind, because the world is about to change, okay? They're not going to stop with this madness, okay? With these, you know, these plots and schemes and devices, you know? But we ain't ignorant to Satan's devices, man. We understand that all this is orchestrated, you know? And it's also a part of prophecy, okay? Because, you know, ultimately this the Lord orchestrating it. You know, because now we're in the time of the judgment of the world. And one thing you'll notice is that it's always, every time this thing starts, they always blame it on bats. And it always starts in brown people countries, whether it be China, Africa, India. It's always the brown people, you know, that get the blame. Never starts in Sweden, Denmark. Okay, it's always, you know, where brown populations are. So it looks like, you know, brown people are just spreading diseases when they're actually created by the Edomites. Okay, they're the ones creating these things, man. Or they're the ones behind it in some way, shape, or fashion, man. Because these people are the wicked of the whole earth, and they gotta go, man. The kingdom of heaven, we ain't having diseases spread around, man. Okay, so I want to turn to the book of Matthew, chapter 24. We're going to start at 7. Actually, let's start at 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So now we're living in this time of wars and rumors of wars. But at the same time, it says in verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom," which we're seeing. It says, "And there shall be famines," which is coming. You know, it's happening in a small scale in certain spots like Gaza and stuff like that. But, you know, that's going to increase. That's going to be worldwide too. Because when this system collapses, when the dollar crashes, then comes famine. But along with famine, which is very close, comes pestilences. It says, "And pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." All these are the beginning of sorrows. So pestilence is going into diseases. So that is part of biblical prophecy in the times that we're living in now during these wars and rumors of wars. So keep in mind that it's no surprise you're starting to see all these cases pop up in India, Africa, you know, Ethiopia, China. All these cases of different pestilences are just popping up, man. Okay, and you know, old Billy Boy, Kill Bates, did say that there would be another one. Check this out.
So we, you know, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, you know, I'd say is will get attention this time.
See? It's gonna get your attention this time, okay? Because COVID didn't get your attention enough. You know, they're saying it like this one. This is the special one, 2.0, right? So just brace yourself, man, because anything could happen in these days we're coming into, all right? But I got a bit more info relating to that guy with the biolab that was just busted, all right? Because, you know, they let this man go, walking around free in America. Check this out. I won't say any more. I'll just play it.
How do you mean there was this...
Listen up.
What the hell do you mean there was this Israeli terrorist who found deadly biological viruses in his house? They literally released him because he have no prior record. For the people who doesn't know what the hell is going on, the US authorities raided a home in Las Vegas containing a secret biological lab holding samples of deadly viruses. The lab owner is an Israeli citizen with an visitor visa named Uri Solomon. He's 55 years old. After the inspection, biological materials were found along with 1,000 sample deadly diseases, including the HIV virus and many others, the type as malaria and all of it. It was revealed that he held French passport alongside with his Israeli one. In addition, several IDs to make him move freely in the country. Surprising! He was released! Why? Because he has no prior record. Because they said the charges are still pending against him, but he still can move freely prior to his trial, as usual, because he's Israeli, we know that. And 2 police officers who became seriously ill after entering the lab of his house, and they described it as deathly ill in their reports. How much you want to bet? Now, he's going to go back to Israel and high-five his people. We got them.
This screams setup, man. You know, the scriptures say, you know, lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay, in I believe the book of Second Corinthians 2:11, is it? See if I can quickly grab that. Yeah, that's right. So it's it says 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And now Satan is going into the Edomites, or the wicked, which is talking about the people that rule the world right now, spreading their so-called white supremacy and the biggest child traffickers and pedophiles in the earth. Okay. This is the people of Satan, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan here on earth, doing the will of Satan on earth. Okay? Now, the word Satan just means adversary. So these are the people that are adverse to the ways of the Most High. You know, they're adverse to the way to nature. You know? And you know, these people are plotting and scheming wicked devices, okay, which is plots and schemes or plans. And, you know, we're not ignorant to their devices, you know, because, you know, we are of the hopeful elect, Lord willing, we're of the elect, but the elect will never be deceived, okay? So, you know, we're vigilant, you know, we're prudent, we're aware, we foresee the evil, and we're hiding ourselves, okay? Because we're the men of wisdom, and we know how to hide ourselves. And I'm going to show you at the end of this lesson how you can hide yourself from these things that are coming upon the earth. Let's go ahead and play. What happened there? Don't know what happened there. Anyway, let's go ahead and play this, another clip real quick. Check this out.
Questions, why isn't the mainstream...
What the...
Couple questions. Why isn't the mainstream media talking about this? Only a few local stations in Las Vegas. You'll know the answer in just a second. And second, say this was a Muslim man and he was caught with a biolab. Would it not be all over every state-run media in the nation?
Multiple refrigerators, red, brown, unknown liquids in gallon-sized containers, and refrigerated vials with unknown liquids.
That is what FBI and Las Vegas Metro teams uncovered over the course of a 3-day ground operation on a home in northeast Las Vegas.
Resources were mobilized from across Clark County, the city of Las Vegas, as well as our other state and federal partners, to include some from outside of our region, to ensure that this operation could be conducted safely.
But several questions remain unanswered, including who is Uri Solomon? What was Solomon's relationship with the owners? And what has happened to people living inside that home? Well, let's start with number one. Who is Uri Solomon? He is the property manager whose arrest report arrived at our newsroom Tuesday morning. In it, some shocking details. Solomon is revealed to be an Israeli citizen, and based off of whistleblower statements to police and what investigators have dug up, Solomon is estimated to manage approximately 37 Airbnbs and other short-term rentals. Among those short-term rentals, according to sources, is the house on Sugar Springs.
He's 55 years old, and his initial charge was a charge of disposing and discharging hazardous waste.
That leads us to question number 2. What was Solomon's relationship with the owners? According to investigators, it is extensive. One of the property owners, Jibei Zhu, also known as David Herr, is currently locked up in a California prison awaiting trial for his alleged involvement in the Reedley lab. But being holed up does not stop contact between Zhu and Solomon. Zhu is believed to have made 6,945 calls since being interred. 467 of those calls have been to Solomon. Another 3,500 calls have been to Wang Xiaoyan, the other owner of the Sugar Springs home in Las Vegas. And according to that whistleblower, Wang is in China evading federal authorities and actively monitoring the garage lab in Las Vegas via security cameras. But Metro did not want to jump the horse about the possible contact to Solomon from Zhu when News 3 asked about the possible contact on Monday.
Is there any indication that Mr. Zhu or Mr. Herr, depending on the alias that they go under, would have had any contact with Mr. Solomon from behind federal bars or currently in federal custody?
Yeah, we're not prepared to answer whether there's any connections between that case and our case at this point, but I can promise you that is one of the areas that we are looking at.
And finally, what has happened to people living inside the home? Well, according to the whistleblower and other sources in the report, people entering the garage of the property would get deathly ill. That includes the whistleblower, while an additional remark in the report noted that a resident of the property was hospitalized with respiratory illness.
So this is what's going down, man. You know, showing you a bit more detail, you know, as to how this is linked to, you know, an Israeli who apparently has loads of Airbnbs, which possibly could contain sleeper cells. Okay. So, you know, this is the time we're living in, the time of pestilence, man. Okay. Now, let me just bring out one or two more scriptures. Okay. Let's start with 2nd Esdras. Chapter 16 and 67. It says, "Behold, the Most High himself is the judge. Fear him, leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble." So this is what you must do to escape the times we're living in, because we're coming into a time of great trouble, which the Bible calls Jacob's trouble. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, how, you know, they're trying to plant this on so-called black people. I want to play this video for you, and then you tell me that this don't look like some kind of setup to make it look like so-called African Americans are the super spreaders or the ones spreading these diseases, man. Okay, which will go into, you know, it will enrage MAGA that already hates our guts. Well, the Edomites in general, really. But, you know, they hate us, and there is coming a civil war, which is part of prophecy. And this right here will help fuel that civil war, man. You just watch this and tell me it don't look like some ignorant auntie that is ignoring protocols and quarantine procedures and going out there just being a super spreader because she, you know, with the, of course they got the bonnet on her head, you know what I mean? But it just seems like this whole thing is just set up, man. Check this out.
This is not a joke, y'all. When I tell y'all this is not a joke, this is not a joke. I have a screen of coronavirus that the public don't know about, because our president has took us from the World Trade Organization. I need all y'all to mask up. What they don't want y'all to know is there are different strands of coronavirus that's killing us off. And it's a silent killer. I didn't know I had it. They said I had pneumonia again. The CDC is on the way to see you. We had to send out for the CDC. I say, what y'all calling the CDC for? There is a strand of corona.
This seems like such an act. You know, I'm not saying it is, I don't know. But this whole thing stinks, man. It says, oh my God, trigger warning. Florida woman escapes hospital after warning people of new strand of COVID that our president is hiding. So she escapes the hospital apparently, and now she's going out there being a super spreader. You can't make this up, man. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. Let me go ahead and continue playing the rest of this, man. It's disgusting. Check this out.
The virus here. I am the first person in the United States. The news people have been here. The CDC is here. Trying to figure out what they can do to get me back together. My heart rate right now is 144.
Her heart rate is 144. Call all your how about should be out shy. The elect won't be deceived.
Steroids, and I'm on oxygen. This cracker don't care nothing about us. I have escaped from the motherfucking hospital. Got my...
Boy, she don't sound as rough as she was earlier. Sound like the hospital was helping you out. Maybe you should have stayed there. Sound good now. Can't make this up, man.
Cigarette. I got all my IVs, y'all. I done put on my jacket. Look, y'all think I'm bullshit. I got my heart monitor. Bitch, I have escaped from Alcatraz. They tells me that the doctor coming in 2 hours. They tell me they might need to intubate me. Now, everybody know that once they intubate you, ain't no coming back.
So, yeah, this is what's happening, man. You cannot make it up. You know, Auntie escaped Alcatraz. Now she's out there being a super spreader. Okay, MAGA's gonna have a field day with that one. And Twitter, the Twitter clan, the X clan, you're gonna have a field day with that one. Anyway, I've got this last video I want to play. Play one more, read one more scripture, and then we'll close it out.
Fear mongering. You got posted on Facebook. On the Facebook post, that person got attacked by probably like 150 different comments of people saying like, "This is from COVID, and you're just fear mongering, or it's a lie." Now, the person that posted that letter defended literally every single comment and said, "No, I got this letter today, January 6th. Something is coming." Well, I have a relative who works for USPS. So, of course, I went right to them, and she hadn't heard anything about it yet. But the very next day she went to work, she was told that a union representative will be coming next week. They're going to come and talk about times of disaster and how they're going to operate through this disaster. I do believe the letter is real. Yes, I do believe something is coming. I think there was one point that Trump said that he's going to have National Guard deployed to almost every major city by March of 2026. When I hear mainstream media stuff, I just take it with a grain of salt. I usually don't even pay attention, but it does seem like it's real. This person did report back to me that they are going to be briefed on disaster situation and how they are going to move forward.
Yeah, and Trump is making moves to, you know, put troops, martial law troops in I think all 50 states, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so you can see the plot, you can see the plan, you can see it all coming together, you know, so we'll just have to stay vigilant and see what happens, man. But at the end of the day, whatever happens is prophecy, and the Lord will protect his elect. Let's go ahead and close out with that. Let's start at verse 74. So this is 2 Ezra 16 and 74. It says, "Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same." So we're getting ready to come into the time the Bible calls Jacob's trouble, pursuant to Jeremiah 30 and 7. Also Daniel's book of Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. Okay, it's going to be so bad that Michael the archangel will have to step in to help us, man. You know, he's gonna have to come and intervene because it's gonna be so bad. All right. So it says, "Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand." We're coming into a horrible time, man, which will include pestilence. It says, "But I will deliver you from the same," and that's talking to the beloved. Okay, which is the elect. It says, "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord power." He says, "Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves." So the Lord is only protecting them who have made a covenant with him by sacrifice, you know, the ones that are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability, acknowledging them, and not saying that the law is done away with. Like these Christians, they really think the Lord is dealing with them, but they're going to realize in the end that they were deceived, and they should have listened to those so-called black Hebrew Israelites, right? Which were not the black Hebrew Israelites, you know. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. And that's, you know, parabolic language speaking about how, you know, the ones that get destroyed by the Lord will receive the last plagues, which is them getting bound, cast into the fire, which is talking about the lake of fire, which is when America burns with nuclear fire, because we're coming into the time of the nuclear holocaust, which is the day of the Lord. All right. So, you know, just keep your head on a swivel on this one, because there's a lot of talk of pestilences all of a sudden popping out of woodworks. So just don't be ignorant of Satan's devices, and, you know, be in a mindset to be prepared to leave it all behind when it kicks off, because it's going to happen suddenly. Suddenly, everything's going to change. And the Lord is going to test us to see who, you know, who remains faithful. Okay? Because nothing is for certain, man. You know, read all this highlighted in yellow here, and it'll further expound on that. You know, we're going to have to leave it all behind at some point, because, you know, a lot of us will be cast out of our houses, our goods spoiled. You know, we're going to get robbed of all of our possessions. So what is it all for? You know, what is it, you know, if it's prophesied this is going to happen, why try to hold on to it? Just let prophecy play out. Trust in the Lord, all right? Let him be your guide. All right, so on that note, man, I'm going to close out. Lord willing, you were edified. And I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ruach HaKodesh. All right, Shalom.